Hello, Internet, and welcome to SonyCentric, the Outerhaven's official PlayStation podcast. I'm your host, Jason Kwasnicki, and for the first time, I'm officially joined by my co-host, Mark Sullivan.
Yo! What's good?
We've officially moved into the new format, folks, just host, co-host. Now, normally we'll have a third wheel, so to speak, but today it's just us because I was at PAX all weekend and didn't have time to schedule anybody.
That's why you were so late on saying, yo, let's do a show. Now
Exactly.
It explains it all, man.
Exactly. I got in at 1:30 a.m. on Sunday night.
That sucks.
That's what you get for taking Greyhound, I guess, but hey, I got that ticket for like $10.
Yeah. Greyhounds
So,
are the most... I hate taking Greyhounds.
yeah, the buses kind of suck, but they're cheap.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, yeah, I was at PAX. Got to play some cool games. Unfortunately, the Sony booth was a little disappointing. Most of what was there I had already played. Ratchet and Clank I beat and reviewed, as we talked about last week.
Yeah, I have some... We'll get into that, but
we'll get into that. You want to talk about it?
I do want to talk about it. I have opinions.
Okay, cool. Uncharted 4. So, I thought they would actually have some single-player content there. But literally what was there was the beta. The multiplayer beta that we all played.
Didn't they also have the new game mode that they revealed just ahead of PAX?
Yeah, it was like I played it for like a few minutes. So like there was a press hour on the first day, Friday.
Okay.
Where it was just press on the floor. So we kind of, not knowing which booth would fill up first, we thought Sony would fill up really quick. And Sony was also right there in front of the escalators, and we didn't want to go that far. So, come in from the entrance, we hit Sony first, and we played and recorded a little bit of Uncharted, and I played it, and it's kind of like a capture the flag sort of thing with like artifacts, and I don't know, I had a bad experience because one of the controller I was using for that particular station was kind of fucked up.
Oh no.
So like the aim was like, it kept going all over the place, and I had no idea what it was. So, not a terribly great experience there. But I did have some awesome experiences with some console exclusive indies. So in particular, I played Pyre, which was the newly announced game from Supergiant.
That's awesome.
Transistor Bastion. We got to talk with Greg Kosovan up in there. If you don't know Greg, he actually back in the PS2 days, man, he used to like run GameSpot and do their vids and stuff. I remember watching his review of like Rogue Galaxy, if you remember what that is, on the PS2.
Yeah. I never played it, but I do. I know about it.
Yeah, he used to be big up in there, but now he's out of the journalism game and making games, and he's very passionate about it. Nice dude. But he let us play Pyre for a bit. I had a lot of fun with it. I also got to play Fury, or more precisely, actually, I watched the lead designer play Fury, and then Clinton got to play Fury. Or
Okay.
I can't remember exactly. Did I play it? Yeah, I think I played it for like a few minutes, and then I just let Clinton play it. But that was really fun. It was kind of it's like Shadow of the Colossus, except instead of fighting huge bosses, you're having like duels, with like crazy. The guy who designed all the characters and the bosses and stuff, did the designs for Afro Samurai.
Okay.
So, yeah, it looked pretty cool. And what was the other one? Hob. Yes, Hob has me excited. Because Hob is like Journey meets Shadow of the Colossus meets like Legend of Zelda. I got to play it for it was like a 10-minute demo, and then talked with the COO of Runic Games, which in the past they did the 2 Torchlight games. Now they're doing this. And my God, just a beautiful game. Plays well. There's platforming. There are really cool fights. It's all very seamless. The story is kind of told through the environments and what you're doing. So it's one of those kind of, I wrote up an article about it. I said, visual storytelling is kind of one of those loose terms that's thrown around for people that want to sound artsy-fartsy. But I think it actually is something that worked there. But these games in general, I'll probably be talking about them a lot more on our upcoming PAX TOH podcast if we ever get around to doing it. So...
Yeah, everybody's a bit behind. Everybody's been, busy editing videos, editing interviews.
Yeah, shit, dude. I've done like 8 videos. I still got to do articles because I
Yeah.
also played I Am Setsuna. I keep forgetting that I even played that game, and I've been looking forward to it for so long.
I'm really looking forward to hearing more about it from you.
Yeah, it's a pretty dope game.
You and I are both really big JRPG buffs.
Definitely, it was a very good. Overall, I was somewhat disappointed in PAX because there wasn't very much new there, aside from Pyre, which was just announced a few days before.
Like that's completely fresh.
But
how does that play similarly to Transistor or Bastion?
Somewhat. It's still isometric. The battles,
of course, doesn't surprise me at all.
But it's weird because it's got a kind of sports game / MOBA twist to it. Not MOBA. Wait, Yeah, MOBA. I guess. Yeah, that would be a good analogy. In that you're in these arenas, and it's your party of 3 against another party, and you got to pass this, like, I'm just gonna call it the blitzball around.
Oh, the blitzball.
Because it's
you have my attention.
It pretty much looks like a blitzball, and your the only character in your party that can move is the one holding the blitzball.
Is he Tidus?
No.
Is it Waka?
These guys are so much cooler than Tidus or Waka.
Whoa! All right, back the fuck up.
There is no backing the fuck up.
I'm not gonna defend Tidus or Waka.
There's no backing the fuck up. It's an objective fact.
Okay, fine, whatever.
But yeah, it's cool. Like, the only person in your party that can move is the one with the ball, so you pass it around to position your party. You can attack while you're holding. You can also, attack when you're not. There are different abilities. Each character has, a range of different abilities, and their attacks are different. So there's a lot of strategy involved with that. It definitely feels less action-y and a bit more strategic than the other two, I would say. Definitely more erring on the side of Transistor than Bastion. Okay. Because Bastion was obviously a bit more action-y, whereas Transistor was more of a tactical RPG.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds great.
Yeah, it was very fun. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Unfortunately, it's not coming until 2017, but...
Yeah, it's gonna be a while.
But, so, you got Ratchet & Clank delivered to you, finally.
I did. I finally did get Ratchet & Clank delivered to me, and I actually took 5 days and platinumed it, so I'm all...
You already platted that shit?
Oh, yeah, man. Ratchet & Clank... Here's the thing about Ratchet & Clank games. They are usually really easy, and like to platinum, I mean. And once you do your first playthrough, you go into challenge mode, and everything is just a breeze, because you're just constantly still leveling up your weapons, you're getting the upgraded versions, and you already know everything to do, like, you already know what to do in every single world by now, because you played it through, so... Right. Not to mention, historically, looking back at Ratchet & Clank games, they've gotten shorter and shorter with every single one.
Yeah, this one, it definitely felt brief. I actually have a question, because you've obviously gone through multiple playthroughs. I mean, for my review, I played a little bit of the challenge mode, but I never got... So I unlocked a bunch of variants of weapons. What were they called? The
Omega versions.
Yeah, the Omega versions. What are those exactly like in relative to the regular versions?
So the way it's worked, since if we really want to go back in time, ever since the first game, you go into challenge mode, and since 2, you've been able to level up your weapons. Going into challenge mode, you unlock upgraded versions that you can continue to level. So in this most recent game, they capped at 5 normally. Once you get the Omega versions, the cap increases to 10, and you can keep increasing them. Not to mention it unlocks additional weapon mods. So it's basically a way to just keep enhancing your weapons and get them even better to match the harder enemies that you're going to be facing in challenge mode.
Nice.
And the way you unlock them in this game is different than it's been before because they introduced the holo cards. You have to unlock the set for whatever given weapon and that you wanna buy the Omega version for. It'll unlock the Omega version for you to purchase.
Yeah, that's why I know about it, because I really dug the holo card system. I think that's one of the best things they added. Me personally,
it was definitely interesting. I kind of wish I don't want to say. I mean, I kind of do wish they added more.
No, it definitely that was one of the things I said in my review, is that, they did great with what they had, but it felt like a missed opportunity to add a bit.
Yeah. Especially because I think I did roughly 4 playthroughs before I got the platinum.
Christ.
I think I did clock in at 4. And by the time I got halfway through my second, maybe, I pretty much had unlocked every single holo card. And by the time I finished that playthrough, I had 100 duplicates. And there's nothing you could do with those if you have all the
Right.
cards. I don't know. I wish there were more, because you've been working towards, increasing the drop rate of the holo cards, and the same goes for Raritanium. You've been working towards increasing that drop rate, but eventually, pretty soon after you get to the max drop rate, it's not going to matter anymore.
Well, what if, and this is a big if, what if Insomniac decided, or, whoever's, if they're going to carry on the Ratchet and Clank IP and keep making games, which I don't see why they wouldn't.
Oh, I certainly hope they do.
But what if with this reboot, the next game carries over your accomplishments?
See, my only problem with that is I ended the game with 100 duplicate holo cards and, I don't know, 400 some odd Raritanium. I start the next game and everything carries over. I'm pretty much done the second game already.
But what if the next game has like 10 or 20 times as many holo cards?
Then that would be a game changer. That would make a big difference. I don't know that everything will carry over. I have to imagine you'll get some major bonuses. I mean, we've gotten bonuses before for having save files present.
Mm-hmm.
For previous Ratchet and Clank games. So I don't know if they do that, and I certainly hope they do continue the franchise. I don't know that they're gonna bring everything over, because that's a lot of stuff to bring over. It's just even if they have a lot more,
Yeah. No, I definitely agree.
Oh, my biggest beef. All right, and I'm gonna preface this with I wholeheartedly agree with your review. I loved the game. I was so happy to play a new Ratchet and Clank game that was like classic Ratchet and Clank, not Full Frontal Assault or that all-for-one garbage.
Not only that, just a 3D platformer in general.
Yeah, and I was so glad to play that. But where the hell are my skill points?
I don't know, man.
That is crazy to me. Insomniac's been doing skill points in their games since Spyro.
I don't know. Maybe they just thought, they could simplify it down with the other systems that they had in place. They didn't want to put too much in.
Some of the things that I would deem skill point worthy were included as trophies, which, okay, fine, but I don't know. It's always been a staple in Insomniac games, and it was a little disappointing to see them reboot or reimagine the original Ratchet and Clank and not have like the skill point for gliding down and landing on top of Big Al Shack, or
I mean, granted. You're a trophy whore, I think it's safe to say.
Oh, I am absolutely a trophy whore.
So this is something that very much it peeves you. But like for me, it's kind of like a meh.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I'm probably in the minority. People probably don't even remember that Insomniac used to put skill points in their games,
right?
And that's fine.
Although I can understand what you're saying. It's kind of like me with Shadow of the Colossus. Gotta eat them lizards. Gotta collect them feathers. Yo, you gotta eat them lizards, man, so you can hold on longer.
Dude, I still need to... I haven't gone back to try and platinum that game for that reason. Like, that's just so much work.
It is. Dude, those little bastards, they know their way around the shrines.
Yeah, dude. That's fucking crazy.
But, I'm moving on, I think, because this has actually been, like, not just a week, but, like, a really contentious news-ridden... It's not really news so much as rumor-ridden. 2 or 3 weeks for...
Let's preface it that way. Rumor.
Yeah. None of this has officially come from Sony, although I think some of the information suspiciously sounds like it was probably directly leaked from Sony. Just based... And I'll get to that in a second after we actually talk about what this is. But Neo. Project Neo. It's apparently what the rumored PlayStation 4K is referred to internally. This comes from a really big, long, giant bomb article that everybody's been referring to for the past week. And it has, more important than the name Neo, which everybody's joking about because, Project Morpheus, Project Neo, Project Trinity, Vita 2.
Well, apparently, I think Trinity was, that was already taken by something else in the past, so...
Lol. But,
I don't even think it was Sony related, but...
This article, actually comes with some specific specs as to what the actual upgrade is going to look like. But not only that, guidelines and rules that Sony is going to be enforcing with regards to devs going forward with the games coming out and their respective quote-unquote Neo modes versus their normal PS4 modes. So I'm just going to read these specs real quick. So, compared from the original PS4 to the Neo, the CPU is going from 8 Jaguar cores at 1.6 GHz to 8 Jaguar cores at 2.1 GHz. The GPU is going from an AMD GCN 18 CUs at 800 megahertz, I guess. Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah, 800 megahertz.
And it's going to go to an improved AMD GCN 36 CUs at 911 megahertz. And then finally, memory is going from 8 gigs to 8 gigs at 176 gigabytes a second to 8 gigs at 218 gigabytes a second. I'm not a tech head. I know nothing about any of that or what it means, but from what I've heard from people that do, it's more of a, not even a hop, more of a skip than a jump. It will be a bit noticeable in terms of frame rates, apparently. And obviously, if the selling point is going to be that this will run 4K, then this will make it able to do that. But it's not a massive leap. Well,
that's the thing. Like the biggest thing being improved is the GPU.
Yes.
Which is gonna allow for that 4K resolution, maybe better frame rates, whatever. Like the CPU is just being overclocked, and not by much.
Yeah, the GPU is being like doubled in size, right?
That's Eurogamer.net also did a follow-up article about Giant Bomb's article. Digital Foundry looking more into analyzing further into the tech. The CPU is a 1.3 times boost, whereas the GPU is a 2.3 flops boost.
Right, because you're going from 18 to 36 CUs.
Yeah, which is like, I mean, that's the whole thing that we've been hearing about, about this rumored system. I would remember to say rumored system. Although it's looking more and more likely every single week, but this is primarily to get 4K out on the console market.
Right.
The RAM just has a bandwidth increase, but this is all about the GPU increase.
Yeah, it's kind of what other people have been saying, and something I agree with. And I kind of mentioned this on the previous podcast we did, where Sony has always kind of been on the forefront, whether it was CDs, DVDs, Blu-ray. They kind of had always predicted where the market would go, or they helped force the market to go in that direction. So this might be a Trojan horse for that with 4K.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have anything else to say about just the tech side of it?
No, not so much the text. I more so want to get into the rules.
Yeah, the rules are the big part, because
I think that's the much bigger part, because average consumer is not going to look at these tech specs and understand a lick of it.
Right. I don't understand a lick of it.
Yeah, I mean I'm an IT guy, and I barely know.
So like
as the rules are what are most important. So let's talk about that.
So, all right, I'm not gonna quote this entire article. So basically, we're gonna break it down like this. So every game from October onward of this year, every game is going to have a PS4 base mode and a Neo mode. Games from September onward are going to be required to have a patch to upgrade and put in a Neo mode. Now, that Neo mode will have to run, which is kind of like, weird that Sony has to specify this, but the Neo mode has to run at least what the PS4 base mode runs at, which, why wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is that Sony is being very upfront that in this documentation that there cannot be any feature on the Neo mode that is not available in the base mode.
Right.
Which I think is the big takeaway.
According to this documentation, like, they're actively trying, hard not to split the user base. So far, given all these rumors, it's not working. People are pissed off. It's not that the user base is getting split, but it's not appeasing fans. Like, people are not happy about this.
Well, here's the thing: is that everything in this article leak, like, sounds good. So, all right, let me clarify. So in terms of where I stand on this, I'm somewhere in between. So there's like 3 groups, right? There are the people who are really pissed off, which is like about 50%, who think that they're getting like fucked in the ass with this.
I would say more, but then again, it might just be a vocal minority.
Yeah, I think it's a little louder than it actually is. I think it's like, you might be right, it might be like 50 to 60%. And then amongst that other 40%, you have like half of them are just waiting to see how Sony presents this. So they're kind of in the direct middle.
And you know what? I'm kind of one of those people.
Right, just middle of the road.
Yeah, because I'm seeing it from both sides. It's smart. They're bringing 4K into console video games. That's not necessarily a bad idea. They're jumping on that ahead of anybody else, unless the NX is somehow going to output at 4K, which I kind of doubt. But
right.
They're trying to push something forward here. The problem is we're not even quite 3 years into the PS4's life cycle itself. And
that's where the other half comes in, saying that it's like the other half of like the non-angry people are like, well, hey, this is how every other tech market works, where you're upgrading every year.
This is console video. This is consoles. This is a totally different market.
Right, and that's where I kind of come in, where I'm in. So it's kind of weird. Imagine those 3 spots I just outlined, and then I'm somewhere in between the people who are really angry and the people waiting for Sony to market this.
Yeah.
Because as of right now, it's a rumor, and none of this is official, and I do want to see how Sony is going to present this.
I've been stressing that for weeks.
But if they don't present it right, then I am going to tend to be on the angry side. Strictly because this fucks with the point of consoles.
Right.
Because I like my consoles to be easy and ubiquitous. Consoles are about ubiquity. You buy a disc, you put it in, it works. This isn't PC, folks. I don't want a PC.
This isn't a constantly changing tech market. You buy a console, it works for years and years and years until the next one comes out. And the thing that a lot of people have been saying, that the actual problem with this is that this sets a sort of precedent that might not be very welcome in this industry yet.
Of course it won't.
Yeah, like I get it. Like I bought my PS4 at launch. I dropped $400 on it. 3 years later, I don't want to have to buy another $400 system to play the same games that I have, only just they look a little better.
Right, and that's that I think is the biggest. You just hit the nail on the head. Everybody's talking about expectations and what consoles have been, but I think the economics of it are the biggest point, and it's something that's kind of getting not overlooked, but like not talked about enough. Because look at it this way: people are talking. Excuse me. People are talking a lot about cell phones and such, and computers being modular, and you're upgrading components of computers and cell phones and tablets and what have you, every year or two. But also keep in mind this: when you upgrade a computer component, you're buying one component for like $100 to $150.
They're not cheap.
What?
They're certainly not cheap.
Well, they're cheap. What I'm gonna get at is that they're cheaper than consoles. Like when you get a phone upgrade, that's subsidized by your phone plan. Like, right. This is a lump sum of like $400 to $500, which, in the grand scheme of things, might not seem expensive, but up front, that's sticker shock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, people having to upgrade again and again and again, it defeats the original purpose of consoles, which was to create an an economical way to play video games that's also easier than, having to go through and fuck around with your OG Mac and put in all these drivers and such to get Doom running.
Yeah, this is just a one-stop shop.
Exactly.
Console, pop a disc in, it works. Bada bing, bada boom. So yeah, I'm as far as where I stand on this, I am with the people that just want to wait and see how Sony comes forth and markets this. My biggest thing that I'm hopeful for is that they do some sort of upgrade program for people that had a PS4 for they've had a PS4 previously and they want to maybe upgrade, like give us some sort of way to do that without having to drop a whole nother $400.
They won't.
I mean I don't know that they will, but they should.
What they're going to do, or at least I'm going to say what they have to do, is drop the price of base PS4 to like $200.
I mean, but the problem is that doesn't help. That doesn't help you or me.
It doesn't. But like that's the piece they have to make.
And that's the biggest problem is we're some of their most loyal fans.
No,
people
I know.
That bought a PS4 on day one. This is kind of screwing us over. If they don't make some sort of way for us to trade up, so to speak, and it can't be. Like, GameStop will do, like, a promotion where you trade in this console, get this much credit towards another console, but this can't be a retailer thing, which is what's gonna make it tricky, and what actually kind of, it's kind of a deterrent towards my argument here.
Well, here's the thing, is that, like, the funny thing about all this, despite, like, I'm talking about the principles of the console market and why they exist in the first place, and why I love game consoles, the ironic part is, as mad as I sound maybe about that, is I really don't give a shit about any of this. I don't know if I would even buy PS4K or PS Neo or whatever anyway. I don't have a 4K TV.
Yeah, neither do I.
And quite frankly, we were just talking about Ratchet and Clank. That game is the most beautiful game. That and like Uncharted 4 are the most beautiful games I've seen on console or PC ever.
Yeah.
Like, bar none. Like, I mean, that just might be my experience, but still.
No,
I don't have a problem with the current PS4.
Neither do I.
So it's like this affects me almost nil.
It's like it's more of a game to game basis than it is the system. The system can pump out amazing looking stuff.
Right.
I was constantly floored playing Metal Gear Solid 5.
Right.
Like that game looks gorgeous on the PS4. Ratchet and Clank, I just played it over the weekend, and yeah, that game actually looked so good that I had trouble differentiating enemy fire from the environments.
No, yeah, I know. Well, I know exactly what you're talking about, dude, and the exact levels you're talking about too.
Yeah, everything was just so flashy and colorful that I actually had genuine difficulty telling apart enemy fire from the environments I was in. Which, you could take as a bad thing gameplay-wise, but it just goes to show, I don't know, it shows how gorgeous that game was. And Uncharted 4, like we've seen previews, you've seen it live. The game's gonna look phenomenal.
Right.
We don't necessarily need this. It's not, and I guess it's also not for us. Because we don't have 4K television. We're not going to need to output in 4K anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a lot of people have said like it's future proofing, which who knows? Maybe in a year people will be out there and buying, because like look at it this way, like all this stuff with like Netflix and like streaming services and stuff, Hulu, like. Mm-hmm. Maybe a year or two is too soon, but like a few years ago, like it was really just Netflix. That was it.
Yeah.
And I could only watch Netflix on my computer.
Oh wait, wait, Jason, that's not true. You're forgetting about Blockbuster. When they pushed the streaming.
Oh yeah. But I mean, my point is like. It was only a course of a year where we saw like the advent not only of a bunch of new streaming services, but like streaming proliferated to the point where like your gaming console streamed, your smart TV streamed, your fucking like iPhone streamed, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, hell, we've even come to the point where PlayStation Now, we're streaming video games.
Right.
Like it's not even just video or music. You are not downloading a game. You are phoning it in entirely.
So I guess my point is that like 4K could proliferate much faster than we think. And I mean, this leads kind of into the last question I wanted to ask about this, just right before we wrap things up. Why do you think Sony's doing this? Because honestly, one of the big things that like I've watched a few other podcasts that have touched on this and like read some stories and talked to people about this. and like nobody can like really give a solid reason as to why would you do this. And honestly, the way I look at it is that, as a business, the people making these decisions at Sony know a shit ton more than we do. Not only do they, have connections in the industry, but like they invest in market research, they invest in market intelligence. Like, there are people whose jobs it is to like basically commit business espionage and figure out what other businesses are doing and give it to their clients, et cetera, et cetera. Like, basically, these people making these decisions, they don't pull it out of their ass. They might make the wrong decisions sometimes, but it's wrong to call them stupid because they're making these decisions for a reason. So, my question is, like, why do you think Sony's doing this?
I feel like the simplest cop-out reason that you could give, and it's not even just a cop-out because it very well may be the reason, they're ahead, and they can take the risk.
Yeah, that is a cop-out, Mark.
But it's not necessarily a bad point. I mean, look at the PlayStation 2 generation, how far ahead they were of the competition.
Oh yeah, no.
And then they revealed the PS3, and it had Blu-ray.
I suppose.
Brand new at the time, and then they dropped that price point.
Yeah, I suppose.
They were ahead. They let it get to their head, and it hurt them. It hurt them in the end. I don't necessarily know that that's what's going to happen with the Neo, but they are ahead of the competition, by a pretty good margin. Clinton will tell you, in Europe or whatever the hell he says. He said it so many times past episodes.
No, he keeps saying that there's only like 1 million unit gap in America, which is not true anymore.
Yeah,
that was true like 2 years ago. The Xbox One is far outpaced by the PS4 at this point.
Yeah, and I'm not saying the Xbox One's not a great console. That's not what I'm saying, but I am like it. You can't lie. Looking at numbers,
the PS4 sold 40 million units. Like,
exactly,
it's the fastest selling console of all time at this point.
So it's safe to say they are very far ahead of the competition, and they can definitely afford the risk if they want to try pushing something forward.
Okay,
so
maybe.
It's a cop-out, it's a simple answer, but I think it very well might be valid.
I mean, I can't buy that simply because when they dropped the PS3 and they made that huge fuck-up, they were coming from a position where they were more than successful on PlayStation, and then they just dominated. They made everybody their bitch during the PS2 era.
Yeah.
So, during the existence of Sony's ventures in video gaming up to the point of the PS3 launch, they were the top dogs. Right. PS3 was their like humbling point. It was the point. It was their fall. It was the point at which their hubris killed them, or not killed them, but cut their Achilles tendon.
Severely damaged until they were able to pick themselves back up.
Until they learned to pick themselves back up. I don't see, especially considering the past 3 years, Sony has pretty much had flawless marketing. Their messaging has been on point. Their PR has been on point. All of that. I don't see them making that kind of mistake again.
But this time, I don't necessarily know that it's a mistake. I feel like
we don't. Yes, you're right.
And I feel like we won't know until we get an official word.
I almost feel like Sony is aware of something that we're not aware of in terms of their competition, like whether it be the rumored Xbox upgrades or maybe even the NX.
Yeah.
I think Sony is future-proofing, if anything, against their competition.
They very well might be. And that's another thing, is that there is a rumored Xbox upgrade, and we don't know what that is yet either. So both of these competitors might be doing very, very similar things, and we have no way of knowing yet.
Yeah, honestly, like it's so hard to make these predictions because again, these, as much as we like to say like, oh, Sony, why the fuck would you do that? That's a dumb decision. Like, Sony knows like exponentially more information than we'll ever know about this stuff.
Oh,
they have percentages of like how many people buy this bundle, how many people pick up a PlayStation 4 with this game. They know down to a T what their user base is doing. And they have, through PlayStation Network, they can just monitor all this shit.
Yeah.
So who knows? honestly, we'll have to wait and see. I would assume that we're going to hear something about this by E3 at the latest. It seems.
I think that's when they're going to drop it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me like this Giant Bomb article it's supposed to be like some unnamed leak source, but just based on like how like it addresses every single concern people had,
yeah,
it almost feels like it's like leaked straight from PlayStation. Like PlayStation was just like, "Hey, Giant Bomb, you want a scoop? Like,
here's our documentation.
Yeah, it feels
fix this mess."
This article feels like PR.
Yeah.
So, I feel like we're gonna hear something, within a month or two about this. We're definitely gonna hear something within a month or two, especially if October is the cutoff date for, games having to have this.
Yeah, and I do want to preface this: if this does get announced like at E3 or sometime within the next, I mean, it has to be. I feel, I don't necessarily know that it'll be out this year.
Yeah, it might not.
Because it's so soon.
It might not.
It will be. Huh?
I said it might not.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh yeah, I was just agreeing.
Okay, I can't imagine it coming out this year just because it's so incredibly soon.
Yeah, but for all we know, this could just be PlayStation 4 Slim. Although the current PlayStation 4 is already pretty skinny. It would actually
make it smaller.
It would actually have to be the PlayStation 4 Thin, because it's wider than it is thick this time. It's not like that big booty PS3 with the Spider-Man logo. Yeah, that thing was massive.
I want one of those though. I have myself a first generation Slim.
No, oh yeah, the original Slim.
They made the Slim and then they made the Super Slim. Yeah, I got the Slim.
I had an original big booty PS3.
Man,
no backwards compatibility though.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
People love that. People love that. PC.
Yeah, those are like collector's items now.
Yeah.
But that's a perfect example though of how, technically speaking, consoles have changed, and that, without even telling us, these people just change what's inside, what components are inside, to cut down on costs. But because like different PS3s were not backwards compatible, what have you, which was largely due to driver components and whatnot. But
yeah,
I think that's gonna do it for us.
There are a couple things I just want to mention real quick.
Oh, okay. Mark has some wrap-up notes.
The first thing is be very, very careful if you're an Uncharted fan, because it has broken street date reportedly in the UK.
I saw this.
Devastated if anything is spoiled for me. I don't want you guys to be disappointed. I don't want you to be disappointed, Jason.
Yeah, no, I saw this on NeoGAF. Yeah. Don't click on anything that says Uncharted.
Yeah. Avoid all that stuff.
What else we got?
If you're interested in the PAX East stuff that Jason and Clinton and Keith all covered, go to the outerhaven.net, go under events, go to Penny Arcade Expo, and go to PAX East 2016, and everything is there. Definitely check out that stuff. Those guys worked very, very hard this past weekend.
Yeah, man, I've been editing videos for 48 hours.
Oh, go check it out because it's awesome. They got tons of interviews. And that's just incredible. Go check it all out. And I just want to plug once again. I've been streaming Uncharted every Friday up until Uncharted 4 does come out.
He sucks.
Yo, fuck you.
He dies a lot.
I do die a lot, but shit. I started this past Friday. I started Uncharted 3, so I'm currently in the middle of that. This Friday I'll be continuing, so come check it out. I start at 1. Well, this week I'll probably be starting at 1:30.
And I'd just like to put on a note with that. I talked with Keith a bit about this on our journeys in Boston. I actually I might start streaming.
Oh yeah?
If my schedule. Well, I thought I might start streaming because you usually stream till 3, right?
I usually do 1 to 3. That's going to be changing, by the way. That's another thing I want to point out. If you do like watching my streams, I will be changing my schedule very soon because
to what?
I'm not sure. I still gotta hash that out.
Because I thought I might just pick up an hour after you, so I would do 4 to 6 or 4 to 7 or something.
All right, well, we'll talk.
Yeah, we'll talk about this. Well, basically Fridays will be the SonyCentric Friday on our Twitch stream.
That's a pretty good idea.
Or if you wanted to go later, I could just take early afternoon. I don't know, because at the current moment, my Fridays are my day off. That's the only reason I said that.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about this off the air.
Yeah.
We'll hash out a schedule.
But the reason I brought it up is because I wanted to. It's my going on and streaming is going to be totally dependent on somebody leaving a comment on this video.
Oh.
So if you want it, you have to work for that shit.
Yeah, you know what? I want more of that too. Like, I just want comments in general. Like, we want to know what you guys think. This is my first episode as an official co-host. I want to know what you think of me. Let me know.
Let them know. If you want me to stream, you have to leave a comment that says "fuck you, Mark." Well, Internet, this has been SonyCentric. Are you ready, Mark?
Oh God, am I doing the outro again?
Yeah.
I gotta say, I thought it was really funny, but I was a little hurt. Last article or last episode you put up, and Mark's outro was part of the title.
Why were you hurt by that? It was meant to be endearing.
I don't know, I was like, damn, putting so much limelight on me. Like, oh my God.
Can't take the heat? Do you want to relinquish your co-host post?
No, I'll do an outro.
If you really want, I'll do it.
I got it. It's
okay.
So you just listened to SonyCentric, the Outerhaven.net's official Sony podcast. You just listened to me, Mark Sullivan, and my fellow host here, Jason Kwasnicki, ramble on and on and on about PlayStation Neo for God knows how long.
41 minutes.
Oh, sweet. Good episode. Good talk. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow the Outerhaven on Twitter at the Outerhaven. You can follow me on Twitter at Nibblehamian. You can follow Jason on Twitter at SolidQuaz.
Yes.
Sweet, got it. Awesome. Come check out the site. Got lots of good reviews. Check out Jason's review of Ratchet and Clank. It was really, really good. Play that game, please. It was. And yeah, that's all I really have to say. I've covered everything else before.
You know where to find more content, folks. www.youtube.com/theouterhaven.net.
Right.
Subscribe. Yeah. This is why I do the outro, Mark.
I forgot about you. Look,
just sit down and shut up and watch the big boys do it.
God damn it.
You know where to find more content. The Outerhaven Net. Like us, subscribe, leave comments, get involved, folks. We'll talk back. You know, we're not mean. We don't bite. We love you for the folks that watch. This has been Solid Quaz, Jason Kwasnicki, your host, and your co-host, Mark Sullivan, a.k.a. at Nibblehamian. Peace out, Internet.
Later.